Sheshadri Chari, Maroof Raza and Colonel RSN Singh from the Indian side, Moshraff Zaidi, Commodore Jamal Hussain and Admiral Javed Iqbal from the Pakistani side. Moshraff Zaidi, we were talking about this a few days back. And what we said would happen is exactly what has happened, that when you face the counter-attack relentlessly from a very sort of committed border security force from the Indian side, you were forced into submission, right? So your submission at the border, which is good, that you stopped the firing, has only proven that you failed miserably in translating all those hyperbolic words into action. This entire exercise of yours of trying to escalate matters, the whole world didn't look at you. You faced a battering from the Indian side. Do you think, Mr. Zaidi, that it will make Pakistan understand the futility of doing something like this ever again?
Arnab, you seem so overjoyed at the fantasy construction that you've just laid out for the viewers. I don't want to take this happiness away from you.
Because there was relative calm on the border today,
which
would make me believe
this one moment,
that there was submission
arising from a fantasy that you've constructed. I can't take that away from you. I'm a strong believer in good relations between Indians and Pakistanis, and this little spark of joy in your heart, I couldn't possibly take that away from you.
Mr. Zaidi, as you know, there has been a period of relative calm in the last 24 hours after your unprovoked attack on Indian civilians and border posts in the last 1 week now. Have you realized, my question was, have you realized the futility? Have you realized the futility of what you just did? That's all. I mean,
have you realized the futility? Turn that around and ask you. I'm happy to turn that around and ask you about the futility of what you're doing, which is provoking an entire nation into a conflict that doesn't exist. Pakistan never wanted a war with India. Pakistan doesn't want a war with India, and Pakistan wants to move forward with trade, normalization, better relations between people, more cultural exchange. Those are the things Pakistan wants.
Mr. Zaidi, you spoke about a little bit of joy in my heart. Let me say that I would be thoroughly delighted if it were to be true that you have realized the futility of what happened. But Maroof, let me get you in. Does it appear to you that at least temporarily the Pakistanis, after having 78 of their border posts targeted, thousands of Indian shells, and places like Harpal, Dhamala, Charwa, Jandhkot, Hot Spring and Beduri in Rawalkot, all these places, according to Pakistani media themselves, devastated by Indian ammunition. Do you think the Pakistanis have been numbed, and do you think they've been numbed for a long time or numbed for the moment by the extent of the Indian response?
Arnab, I'll go straight to the point. I don't think Pakistan would rest and assume that the futility of such an exercise should not be repeated, because at the core of Pakistan's military preparations against India is to continue to keep the Kashmir issue alive, to continue to keep the border flared up to an extent.
The Kashmir issue is alive because you are an illegal occupant of Kashmir. That's why the Kashmir issue is alive.
Not because of Pakistan. Get into that.
Pakistan has nothing to do. The people of Kashmir are unhappy with you, and you don't have any way of addressing their concerns, and so you keep blaming Pakistan.
Hold it. Let me complete my point. I can give you para-chapter and verse of the UN resolution.
You're holding Kashmir.
No. I've been asked the question. I was not speaking. I was not speaking when you were speaking. I was not speaking when you were speaking. Give me the courtesy of listening to me. What I'm trying to give is the Indian perspective. You may not agree with it.
Illegal occupation.
Sir, you answer my question. What about the jackboots that dominate what we call Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? What about the jackboots that dominate the northern areas? What about your jackboots that dominate Baluchistan?
Where's the Hurriyat conference in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? Where's the insurgency? Where's the 80,000 bodies? Where's the thousands of widows?
Is this what you are alluding to?
Where are they?
That the firing was basically to put your point across.
And Mirpur are happy.
No.
Is this what you're alluding to? Happy.
Is this what you're alluding to? That the firing was basically done.
That India is
Mr. Zaidi,
the negotiating table. You can
Mr.
forget
Zaidi,
it.
you can. No, 1 second. No, Mr. Zaidi, no, 1 minute. Mr. Zaidi, you can come in once in a while, but I don't think you can heckle. You see, don't heckle him. He's answering a question. I think he didn't heckle you when you were speaking. You can always intervene. But what you're resorting to right now, Mr. Zaidi, appears to be heckling. Don't do that, please. Thank you.
I'm done.
Go ahead.
Arnab, I want to make 4 quick points. One is, at the heart of Pakistan Army's doctrine is to continue to keep the Kashmir issue alive, failing which they lose their political and social standing in Pakistan. 2, it is Pakistan's design for the last couple of months to try and internationalize Kashmir, whether we look at it in terms of assertions that have been made within Pakistan, at the United Nations, and now crossing by firing on the border and the LoC. Thirdly, please understand that we have no motivation to fire across the border or the LoC because we have never shown aggressive intent vis-a-vis Pakistan. It is Pakistan which has based its doctrine on the fact that India is an aggressor and that they are nuclear-powered state, so the world will come to their rescue if push comes to shove. This has come in the assertions of your defense minister's statement in the last 24 hours, that the word aggressor and nuclear-powered states has been used. And finally, the point I wish to make, that there is no other substitute for the Pakistani military establishment to continue to be a prominent element in Pakistan's policy-making elite, with the exception of raising tempo on the border and the LoC.
Yeah, but
you've just done that, but
Sheshadri Chari,
you have miscalculated. You have miscalculated India's ability to respond, because this government is willing to call your bluff.
You see, Nawaz Sharif had a meeting, Sheshadri Chari, with some senior members of his army, the same army that had mediated in the crisis between him and Imran Khan. Now, what appears after what Arun Jaitley said yesterday, that we are going to make the cost of your, what you do unaffordable, they seem to have pulled back for the moment. Mr. Chari, do you think that they have pulled back because they've realized they can't do anything anymore, because they've realized their weaknesses, or because they did not expect the extent of the Indian counter-response? And how long will they behave themselves before they begin again, in your view, Mr. Chari?
I think Arnab, I think the Pakistani army has realized the futility of their action. And they have decided to pull back. But let me warn you, this pulling back is also very temporary phenomena.
Okay.
Basically, the Pakistani army had two objectives. One objective was to push into India about 500 to 600 to say 800 infiltrators.
That's right.
And then vitiate the atmosphere in Jammu and Kashmir, so that India is not able to hold elections there. Even otherwise, I doubt, with the kind of floods that we saw in Jammu, I don't know how far we will be able to hold an election as of now. But even if we are able to hold an election after the winter, that is the time when about 800 infiltrators would have already come, and they would have really vitiated the atmosphere. That was one of the intention of the Pakistani army. The other intention was the Pakistani army had suddenly got very much emboldened because of mainly 3 things. Number one, when the Pakistani Prime Minister decided to honor the Modi's visit, Modi's invitation, and come for his swearing-in ceremony, they immediately responded in Herat. So, and the Pakistani Prime Minister could not really answer that. He could not stop that. The second was the snub that Pakistani army got in Modi's US visit. And in between these 2 things, the most important element that happened was, when there was a political crisis in Islamabad, it was the Pakistani Prime Minister who had to go to the army and seek its intervention.
Yeah.
So these 3 things emboldened the army, and they came out. But you were now accused of being very happy that India has been able to inflict a cost on Pakistani army. Arnab Goswami, you are not the only person who is happy. I am sure the Prime Minister of Pakistan is the happiest person because of the defeat that his own army has had in the hands of the Indian army.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The same army that has virtually reduced him to being a puppet,
Arnab,
to being a puppet prime minister. No, the reason people are happy today.
It's been a hectic day.
No, 1 second. The reason people are happy today, Commodore Jamal Hussain, let's get you in.
I'm happy.
Commodore Jamal Hussain, let's get you in.
Yes,
the reason people are happy today, at least briefly, is because this time Pakistan tried everything in the last couple of weeks. It went to the UN, it went crying to America, nobody listened. Then it tried the escalation. Then it tried the escalation. Yesterday, they even tried to pull out this, godforsaken nuclear word. You threaten to play with your Chinese toys every time that you... there was no attention that was given anywhere in the world to you. So it must be, at the end, all that you got, Commodore Hussain, all that you got was a proper Indian pummeling on the border.
Cutting off.
And you have to now pull back. So, Commodore Hussain, what are the lessons for you?
Thank you, Arun, for your...
What are the lessons for Pakistan?
Okay, a very loaded question.
No, it's not loaded, it's just an observation.
Arun, may I say something? Would you like my opinion?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. It's very, very loaded question, and let me give you from my point of view. First, I'll be very candid by saying that I am not privy to exactly what's going on along the border, and my information and my judgment is based on what I have heard on our television, what I have heard on your television. And the things, undisputed facts are that there is a heavy firing by both sides. And the biggest casualties are the civilians on both sides, although there may have been a few military casualties also. Also, we are accusing each other who started the fight. Now, for me to decide who is the culprit, I normally do what we call in our parlance a wargaming. Let us first assume that what India is saying is right, that Pakistan is the one is firing. The question is, why have we taken this step? As one of your participants has said, that because we want to help cross-border India. Excuse me, your border is so heavily guarded and fenced that I will need a man-pad to go across India. So that doesn't make much of a sense to me. The other sense is that we are all suicidal maniacs. Pakistanis, we are all suicidal maniacs, and already we are fighting a full-fledged war in our western border, and we've got to be mad absolutely to start such thing in our eastern border and to totally jeopardize the security. Okay, let me finish. Please let me finish.
Colonel RSN Singh, let the Commodore Hussain complete.
What I am saying is that today,
if you are not going to let me finish, then why are we having this debate? Just hear my point.
Colonel Singh, let
please do not interrupt me.
I do not want to sound jingoistic, or I am not smug, but I'll request my honorable Pakistani guests that this is the time to introspect for you. Please stop unleashing this proxy package, which comprises infiltration, terror, sabotage, subversion, destabilization, counterfeiting, and followed by talks. What was happening earlier is that after every terrorist incident, there used to be talks, which was providing oxygen to this whole business of proxy war. And I'm so happy that this government has had the gumption to call off these talks till you stop this terror. And the second thing, let me tell you what is happening in Pakistan. Mr. Chari correctly said that Mr. Nawaz Sharif is the happiest person today because you wanted to dislodge him by carrying out an attack on Herat. When Herat failed, then you unleashed Imran Khan and Qadri. And when that failed, now you have started manipulating the incidents on the border. So he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right that you want to see the end. You wanted to see the end of Moshraff because Nawaz Sharif, because of Moshraff, because of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan.
No, you see,
and also I am told there are issues between the army and Nawaz Sharif
honestly,
with regards to supply warheads to Saudi Arabia. So this is the internal dynamic that has been
I feel sorry for you.
you see, what
I don't want to get into a slang match with you.
Commodore Jamal Hussain.
That's your point of view.
No, Commodore.
Yeah, please
Commodore
listen
Jamal
to...
Hussain, just 1 minute.
Yes,
no,
yes.
one second. Commodore Jamal Hussain.
Please. Yes, okay.
What are we discussing today? We are discussing...
You asked me a loaded question.
Commodore Hussain, no, I am not even... Commodore Hussain,
and you want me to say...
Commodore Hussain, what happened is... Let me just say this and then you can respond as much as you want. Till yesterday, day before, 3 days back, you were all, we will hit back at India, etc., etc., etc. Today, what has happened is, you have been forced to submit at the border. You know how much we hit you. You know how much we targeted you. You know exactly the damage that has been caused on the Pakistani side. We hope you learnt your lesson, that's all. And now that this lesson has been learnt, all the Indian participants are saying is, please, for God's sake, introspect in the future. Don't give lectures on desiring peace. Nawaz Sharif says our desire for peace should not be misunderstood. What peace were you desiring when you forced 30,000 Indian civilians to be evacuated and moved into camps? Right? What peace were you desiring when you destroyed 120 Indian homes and structures? Did you not expect India to respond? Commodore Hussain, we responded, and we responded very firmly. You can laugh out there, you can find it amusing. I can tell you, your army does not find it amusing anymore. They are hurting today. You can ask them. Ask your army friends.
Do you want my response, or would you like to just force your view onto me?
One-way traffic.
Do you want my response?
No, not one-way traffic, Admiral Iqbal. I'm telling you that you know what happened to you.
No, you don't give time to reply.
No.
Do you think we have come to endorse?
I can tell you, you know what happened.
You know what happened to you on the border.
Have you called me over here as your guest to give me my point of view, or have you called me here to give me a lecture? If you have called me here to give a lecture, you're wasting your time, Mr. Arun Goswami. Don't waste my time, because this is absolute nonsense what you are saying. Hold on, listen to what I am saying. The main argument right now is we are accusing you, you started the war.
No, there is no accusation.
You are accusing us, we started the fighting.
No, there is no accusation.
And I'm looking at it from, if we have started it, we have to be maniacs, suicidal maniacs.
But you have proven yourself. You are very often suicidal maniacs. Why would you have kept Osama bin Laden on your soil and supported Hafiz Saeed? That only those who are suicidal would do things like that.
Yeah, that is right. That is why you are. We are the ones who are asking, let's stop this nonsense. And you are the one who is saying our guns will speak.
No, you had Osama bin Laden, then you have Dawood, then you have Mullah Omar, then you have Ayman al-Zawahiri. Why only a suicidal country would do something like that? I mean, no reasonable, rational country.
For God's sake, don't go history. It was your Hindu
Osama was found in 2011. It's contemporary history.
Let's not talk about these issues, okay?
No. Osama was kept by your people.
Mahatma Gandhi was killed by a Hindu.
Osama bin Laden was kept on your soil. Patronized by your army.
Who killed Mahatma Gandhi?
So don't lose your composure.
Who killed Mahatma Gandhi?
Don't lose your composure.
No, you are.
The fact is that
you are not trying to ask me.
Okay, so I'm asking you. I'm asking you who killed. My question is simply. Admiral Iqbal. Admiral Iqbal always likes to. Admiral Iqbal.
आपके पास लाइनें ठीक नहीं हैं.
Admiral Iqbal, आपको आवाज आ रही है? बात तो ये है that you wanted to repeat Kargil all over again. It didn't even go that far. Yes, Admiral Iqbal. I can't hear you. I think I lost the line with you.
Arnab.
Maroof was saying some.
Arnab.
I'm going to come back to you, Admiral. I can hear your lips moving. I can't hear you yet. Yes, Maroof.
Arnab, see, the point that is not being answered in the last couple of days by your Pakistani guest is what would be India's motivation to escalate tensions on the IB or the LoC? I don't see any logical reason.
You are. Let me answer this question.
We don't have
I will answer this if you allow me.
Sir, please. Sir, Commodore, please let me complete. I'm being realistic. Militarily,
I will answer your question if you allow me.
Country with aggressive. Sir, let me complete my question. militarily we are seen to be in Pakistan as a country with aggressive, as a country with an aggressive intent that we want to capture Pakistan.
And that's the whole point.
Sir,
this Indian hegemony that's being
Commodore,
constructed.
Commodore,
Commodore,
all the
India
words,
gets to ask the question,
all the words,
and then India gets to answer the
Commodore,
question.
Commodore, please let me complete. Commodore, please let me complete. Commodore, please let me complete. Commodore, all I'm saying, all I'm saying, that you have to deconstruct, you have to deconstruct. Commodore Sahab, please listen to me.